about coaching, you know, a lot of places, this word gets thrown around a lot, but it's like, you know, coaching, essentially the way I look at it from like the 10,000 foot view is you're a guide. You know, it's like if everybody has their Everest that they want to reach, you know, in different areas of life. And when people walk in here, they have in their mind a physical Everest, essentially how they look, how they feel, the energy they have, how they perform. And, you know, essentially you're a Sherpa, right? You're a guide. And I think too many times people look at like the trainer, the coach, and it's like somebody telling somebody else what to do. Like, you're gonna do this, right? I'm here to obey. But that's not really true, because it's a collaboration, right? It's coactive coaching. It's two people working together. And like I said, one person is the Sherpa on it. There's guidance and there's support, right? You're guiding them across this journey. Now, sometimes, you know, you go behind and you push that person, right? You push them. And sometimes, you know, you go ahead and you pull them. But majority of the time, it's supporting them and guiding them, right? And then there's this accountability behind all that, and the access to that person at the right times. Now, you know, when you change your body, there's a lot of things going on. Transformation truly happens in the brain, right? Your perspectives of the world, the habits that you ingrain, right? And we talk about, hey, excellence is essentially a habit, right? So, you know, every little aspect of the thing that happens in Vigor Ground, that happens in coaching, it's everything from, you know, what you see in the gym, right? From assessing movement and getting people to move better, and kind of correcting weaknesses and building strengths, and from there building programs that are going to be the best for that person. And then there's every aspect of it, like the coaching, you know, knowing when to do an external cue, knowing when to do an internal cue, knowing how to talk to somebody, you know, the right way at the right time, you know, knowing when to push, when to back off, when to have somebody relax, you know, when to adjust training, you know, when to say the right thing, when to scratch a training session and just sit down with someone because it's more important to hear them out and listen, you know what I mean? And I would say recommend the right thing or ask the right questions. Like, that's a lot of times, right? What's needed. Have the person get more perspective in a certain area of their life.
Jay Phillips, Vigor Ground member, I guess you'd call it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Vigor Ground All-Star, you mean?
Yeah, right. Vigor Ground veteran.
Okay.
Old man. I've been training here for probably about 5 years.
A husband, father, got an active 2-year-old baby. Keeps us on our toes. Have I don't know if I'd call it a crazy job, but somewhat of a kind of hectic job every now and then. When I'm not at work, and if it's not raining, especially if it's sunny, I'm gonna prefer to go play volleyball, assuming my wife lets me get away.
So I was suffering really bad patellar tendonitis from years of volleyball, and numerous doctors, PTs, tried home remedies, tried all sorts of gimmicks off the internet, you name it, but finally came across Luka by sending an email to numerous nationally accredited trainers. I went as far as emailing the men's national volleyball team trainer. I got an email saying, come check out Luka. He's here in Seattle. He can probably help you. So it was probably over a year of surfing for the information, but finally found Luka.
I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago with my wife, that my knees were bad. I didn't think, last thing I wanted to do was be a broken down dad that couldn't get up and run around and have fun with my kid. So it was a blessing that I came across Luka. He's helped me out tremendously.
Well, there were some pretty dark days where he got pretty upset about his future, because he was trying so many different therapies and ways to heal himself, and nothing was working, and it was keeping him from playing the sport that we love.
Pretty much on a daily basis, everything was painful. Going upstairs, that first step, getting out of bed, I couldn't sit through movies. After 20 minutes in the car, it would get painful and achy.
He could be a little grumpy when he was in a lot of pain. So that definitely affected our home life. And just, you know, the attitude of going nowhere, trying so many different things and it just going nowhere, and feeling like there was no help.
I went as far as flying down to Stanford and getting medical treatments down in Stanford from a doctor there. So I was scouring every nook and cranny to find a solution. all the supposedly greatest orthopedics, all these miracle cures. It really boiled down to finding someone like Luka that understood mobility and strength and kind of how to realign your body.
He was still in the little garage down the street, so it was kind of reminded me of like old school Rocky gym, where it's like chase a chicken and flip some tires and beat something with a hammer, but it was different, so it was kind of cool. And the first meeting with Luka, within 15 minutes, he had me go through more mobility exercises and kind of more general understanding of my body mechanics than any one physical therapist or doctor ever did. I went through so many PTs where I was just focusing on the pain and that kind of like one symptom, but Luka started with mobility and body movements and where I wasn't functioning properly. So that kind of piqued my interest to say, wow, maybe this guy is onto something.
He pretty quickly had good results, and at this point, he has no knee pain. He can play anytime he wants, and he has no pain. And it used to be every time he played, he had pain. It just was he able to play through that pain, or did he have to stop?
What's tough when you're competitive and you want to get back to a game that you love is telling yourself to slow down and take the baby steps and do the right things the right way. So the thing that really kept me going was the pain kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So the tough part, again, was not being able to get back on the court and play as quick as I wanted to. But I'd say 4 to 6 months. And that's really hard, again, for athletes, because you really don't want to be you don't want to be sitting around that long. You want to be playing again.
And first and foremost, my kid sees an active dad, not a guy that's going to sit around and kind of play with them from the couch. So I'm sure if you talk to my wife, she would see an attitude change. And definitely somebody that's, not the, it was pretty bad. I didn't think I'd be normal with the amount of knee pain that I had.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with his fitness level. Not only him playing volleyball, but just being healthy and sticking with his workout routine at Vigor Ground. It's setting a really good example for our son, who will see that we both want to have an active lifestyle and that that's important to us and should be important to him as well.
My son Tripp's reaping the rewards of me being on the healthy phase, so he was never around when I was unhealthy or in pain. So the good news is he gets to see the fun dad. Not the dad that was worried about, oh my God, how painful is this going to be to go do something. Especially turning 2 years old, he watches and wants to do what daddy does, for sure.
Out-of-pocket expenses, I'm going to be totally upfront. I've probably spent over $10,000 on my 2 knees over 5 years. So it was not a light amount of money. I think some of the things helped, but what I'm spending per month here outweighs anything I spent on those treatments. And just a shame I couldn't find it earlier in my younger 30s. I'm 45 now, so if I would have been wise and found something like this in my 30s, I probably could have saved myself a ton of money. But the investment has been worth every penny.
And I look at, transformation is essentially a puzzle piece. And, whether people come in and go like, hey, I want to change my body, there's all these different pieces of the puzzle that might be necessary to get them there. So improving sleep, right? And obviously there's the nutritional part, but then it's also, the environment that a person puts themselves in, whether it's the gym they go to, whether it's the friends they have, whether it's, work, and like how they can start working on these things. The stories that they tell themselves about, something, oh, I shouldn't do this, I was wrong for that, or the shame and blame they put themselves. There's so many different aspects, right? And the way I look at it is like, everybody has a picture, right? Most of the time, if you ask the people, like, what do you want your life to look like? If you close your eyes, like, where do you want to be? How do you want to feel? What do you want your body to be like? How do you want to move? And people will be able to like paint this picture for you majority of the time, pretty clear. Like, if they really kind of like put down the walls and take away the restrictions of society and what people tell them to do and what the little voices in their head tell them to do. Like, there's usually a picture. Like, man, I want to look like this. I want to be like this. I want to achieve this. And so that picture is a puzzle piece. right? And as a coach, like, you have to have the tools in the toolbox to help a person with these different pieces. And, you know, knowing training isn't enough. Like, knowing your charts, you know, and your X's and O's, it's very important, you know, but it's the science part of it, but then there's art. And together, it's like, you know, it's like Martin Rooney always taught me, it's like jazz, right? It's when everything's flowing, right? Everything's flowing. That's kind of like the art of coaching, where you understand all these different pieces, but you put them together kind of like music. You know, it's like on a piece of paper, it's notes. But man, when you play it, it's more than that. And that's what coaching is. And, you know, I'd have you consider, like I said, that sometimes it's like, just because, you know, you're like, oh, the Perlepin chart and periodization, this is how it's supposed to be because science says so, you know, it's important. But like, being able to listen to that person, being able to make a recommendation, ask the question, guide them to, you know, to a breakthrough, and, you know, that to see something differently in their life and change the story that's been holding it back, and that could be everything. So coaching is a lot of different things, and you know, that's my, like, I can't say shit in a short way. That's obviously my MO, but I think that's the best way to explain it, right? But at the end of the day, we're Sherpas and we're guiding people to their Everest. And once they get there, guess what? There's always another peak, right? And we start planning on how to get there. And a big part of that is like the people that are around, because the other people here are also coaches. Like, when you surround yourself with a great environment, everybody becomes a coach. And honestly, everybody in life is a coach.